I think everyone can agree that one of the best things about football is that you don't need a lot of fancy gear to go out and play. There's really just a few essential items that you need, and that's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. And I'm going to try and keep things short and to the point, so let's get things started with one of the most important things, and that's going to be your football boots. Now, across my channel, one of the biggest things I do is review football boots, and if you want a comprehensive list of some of the best boots you can get on the market, I'll leave a link in the description below to the best boots of the year. And there really isn't one set price that you need to spend to get a decent pair of boots, but I would generally say that some of the best boots on the market range from around $70 in price all the way up to $250. If you're looking to get something really premium and high-end, you can look towards the new Adidas Predator Elite FT. This is going to retail all the way up at $280. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more modest in terms of price, you can look at the Mizuno Morelia Neo 4 Beta Elite. These are going to be closer to around $160. Or the New Balance 442 V2 Pro. These are going to be around $130. But even when you go lower in price to some of the third tier takedown boots, you can find things like the Adidas F50 League. These are going to retail for $90, but they're still going to be a great option for most players. As I said earlier, as long as you're willing to spend, I'd say at least $70 to $90, that's going to get you a really decent pair of boots. And I'll leave all of my favorite recommendations at a variety of price points in the description below, and I'll also try and include some discount codes as well. Next up, equally if not more important than your boots, let's talk about the actual football. So similar to football boots, footballs themselves are going to have a wide variety of prices. And while you can sometimes go to the dollar store or another convenience store and find some crazy affordable footballs that are around $10 to $15, I would usually recommend spending at least around $30 on your football. Spending around $30 will get you a decent ball that's going to retain air pretty well and will perform well on the pitch. Right here, I've got a Nike Strike. This one is going to retail for between $30 and $40, depending on if you find it on sale, and a ball like this is definitely going to do the job. And it's always good to have multiple balls as well, because as has happened to me many times in the past, they can get lost and even sometimes they can get stolen. And then if you've been playing for a while or you just consider yourself really serious about football, I would consider getting at least one higher quality football. This is an Adidas Bazooka, and it is an actual match ball replica from the 2014 World Cup. I've had this ball now for actually a little over 10 years. And despite heavy use, this ball has actually held up extremely well. Now that being said, this ball did cost $160 when I bought it new. But as long as you actually take care of these more premium balls, they will last you for a really long time, and they are, I think, a lot more fun to play with compared to some of the more affordable alternatives. And also, in my personal experience, having at least one nice football in your rotation can just make it a little bit more enjoyable to go out and train, and sometimes can even give you a little bit of added motivation because you've spent so much money. Currently, there are some great match balls that I'll show you right now that you can get from Puma, Select, as well as Nike. In my opinion, one of the best balls out right now is going to be the Nike Flight. It is the Premier League match ball. The full retail price for the Nike Flight is $160, but if you look on sale, you can sometimes find it for around $100 or closer to $90. The only word of caution I will give you about getting expensive footballs is to just use them during individual training sessions. Sometimes when you take out a ball and use it with a larger group, you can run the risk of it getting lost or stolen. And also be really careful if you're shooting one of your more expensive footballs, especially if you're shooting at a goal with no net behind it, because if you send the ball over the bar and it ends up getting lost, it's going to make for a really disappointing training session. Next up, something I'm willing to bet a lot of you don't have, and that's going to be a ball pump. I swear there's nothing more frustrating than going out to play by yourself or playing with a smaller group, maybe a pickup game, and noticing that the ball has no air left. And playing with a flat football honestly just sucks. It's like playing with a balloon that's been let out to sit on the ground for over a week. It's really soft, it doesn't strike well, and it just doesn't have a good bounce to it. If you love football, if you're serious about training, you need to have footballs that are properly inflated. These usually cost around $20 or less, and if you treat them well, they will last you many years. But I would also recommend being a little bit careful with these needles here at the end here, because there have been occasions in the past where I've actually gotten these trapped and broken off inside of a football, and that is also extremely annoying. But I can't tell you how many times I've been out playing pickup and we have a ball that sucks and no one else has a pump, and I'm kind of there to save the day because I always have one in my bag. You can be that person too, just always have a pump with you. Next up, let's talk about cones. Now, there are dozens of different training accessories out there for football, but in my opinion, if you're looking for something that's going to last you many years and is really affordable and is going to give you just great value over time, I wouldn't look any further than just getting a pack of these disc cones. They're super cheap, super lightweight, don't take up any space, so they're really easy to just throw in your bag. And while a simple cone weave is going to be pretty much the easiest drill to set up with these cones, there are an infinite number of drills that you can create using just a simple set of 15 to 20 cones. And I'll also put a link in the description to some of my favorite cone drills that I've used over the years. Now, while cones are the #1 individual training accessory, if you do ever find yourself training with some other players, one of the best things that you can get is a set of goals. Now, goals can be a little bit more expensive when it comes to their price tag. However, if you just get a set of some simple pop-up goals, you can usually find one for around 40 to 45 bucks, and then a set of two is going to run you between $80 and $90. When I grew up playing pickup with neighbors, we used these goals all of the time, and they are pretty good when it comes to helping you improve your accuracy when shooting. If you ever like playing 1v1, 2v2, or 3v3 small-sided matches, these pop-up goals can be really, really helpful. And they're also really lightweight and fold up small, so they're easy to fit in the trunk of a car. Now, next up, you would be surprised how many people don't have these in their football bag, but of course, you should always have a pair of Shin Guards with you. Now, obviously, if you're just doing an individual training session, you probably aren't going to need to wear Shin Guards, but if you ever find yourself maybe in a pickup game or even a more organized recreational game, sometimes Shin Guards are actually going to be required. I can't tell you how many times we've played games where Shin Guards were required and certain players show up and they either forget them or they just don't have them. And not to mention, even if they aren't required, they are one of the simplest things you can do to help reduce your injury risk when you're on the field, especially from contact injuries. These days, most Shin Guards are pretty light and easy to just slip in. Here, I have a pair of Nike Mercurial Light Shin Guards that I got many, many years ago, and once you get a pair that you like, they will pretty much last you a lifetime. Now, you also need something to secure your Shin Guards with. Most of the time when you order them, they will come with sleeves that will help you do just that. Or you can do what I normally do now, which is just wear standard mid-cut socks. I slide in the Shin Guards under these, and then I just have these longer socks that I cut off the bottom of and wear these on top. Now, depending on where you are in the world, there are probably at least a few months out of the year that are going to be pretty cold. And if that is the case, I would recommend that you have at least some compression gear that you can wear to keep you warm. Now, you can get compression gear from a variety of brands. This top base layer I have is actually from Under Armour, and it's been really useful, but Nike, Puma, and Adidas also sell some varieties. Now, ultimately, what compression gear is going to do is it's going to help keep your muscles warm during those winter months, and it's also going to be thin, lightweight, and moisture wicking. I'd recommend getting one base layer for the top and then another for the bottom. And of course, these are going to last you for a long time, so you don't really need to worry about buying them over and over again. All right, guys, and that is going to do it for this video. As I mentioned, there are a few sales going on right now, so if you want to pick up any of the gear that we just discussed, check out the links in the description. And if there's any gear that I left out of this list, feel free to remind me in the comments below. If you found any value in this video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.